As a longtime player, I have a lot of experience with scrying dragons and designing scries and Gen 1s and just designing them in general, as I've been playing since 2019, which is, several years. Um, and I really, really like scrying. I thought that I would share my process since it's a lot of fun. And I think the commentary aspect, it's just fun to listen to, the same as you would like watch art commentary videos while someone does a speed paint or something. Anyway, I made this forum post earlier today asking people to give me dragons to scry, make their requests about whatever they want, and I would scry the dragons for them and, I'd make a YouTube video detailing my process. I will definitely not get to all of them today because I got several responses. But if all goes well, I may be doing this again, and so I will just continue sequentially down the list. I am going to go in order. Um, and everyone here is fully aware that I am using this for a YouTube video. I put it several times in this post here. And if they don't want it in the YouTube post, I'm not going to use their dragons in the YouTube video. So I wanted to get that out of the way first. But if I do this again, which I might, you can always just make your own post here, sharing your dragons, and I might get around to them eventually. But let's get to it. This is the first person, Warsaw Mouse. I love their avatar, by the way. I think this is gorgeous. I love it's the sorry, a Bane scale with which is a fire element dragon with the new fire element ancient gene from the 2023 um Flame Fortress Festival. So they are requesting that I turn Firebug into a fire-themed Sand Surge. When Sand Surges came out, I made an entire forum post just doing Sand Surges. But it's been a bit since then, so let's see if I can remember how the genes work. Sand Surges did not get the fire gene, but that's fine. I usually start by just clicking buttons, trying to see what looks good. Given the fire theme, I think that's going to be tricky with the turts offered, unless I go for maybe augment or thylacine. Oh, actually, I might be able to get Spectre to work well. Those ice eyes are going to be tricky, though, I think. Are Blend Fade on here? I forget which one's which every time. Nope. Okay, that looks good. I like that. I think a dark color like one of these, where it lines up against there, would look nice, just for that sharp contrast, but I don't want it as dark as this, the entire dragon. If I can get them a bit lighter, that would be better. What's the basic look like again? Yeah, it's pretty dark from the start. So, oh wait, oh yeah, Marlin and what's the other one? Marlin and Sailfish. Sailfish does look really, really good there, but I don't think it's exactly the fire theme they wanted. What does the primal look like? I always think, okay, yeah, that doesn't really work. This is a cool looking one, but I don't think it works. Anyway, Cinder has that shape of the fire, but it's not really fire-y. Oh, you know what? I forgot Kumo was an option. Oh, I don't like it though. Not on this set. Let's try Kumo again and blend. When working with Kumo and other ones that make like big changes like this, I think it's necessary to just make the base, the primary and the secondary pretty bland. Like these don't mix well, in my opinion. Especially right here in this area, like in this area it's fine, but like especially on the face, things just get way too complicated. Especially when you're looking at a modern dragon and you have to work out like clothing as well. Well, you don't have to work out clothing, but you can work out clothing. I don't like to go with things that conflict. I like things that match in terms of direction. When I find things like that, like boa, flaunt, those don't look good. And here you can see that the stripes on Tapir don't match with the Kumo, and so I don't think it looks that good. Here, the color is different enough that the Kumo actually really stands out on the wings, and I love it. See, one of the tricky things here is that the primary's accent color tends to be this blue, and that doesn't work super well. Yeah, okay. I think this is the best combo I'm gonna get. I don't spend way too long on these. Actually, let me mess with the color. The eyes actually are often overlooked, but they can make a big difference when they're larger. I don't think the eyes contribute anything in this case. Yeah, the ice eyes don't work super good. So I'm just gonna go with this. This is the best set that I think I'm gonna get. It is Tiger, although you can barely tell with the stripes because they're so dark. Blend and Kumo with common eyes and a silhouette scroll applied, although the female pose doesn't look bad either. I think that the male pose, being much more dynamic, contributes to the thought, the image of like fire and burning and the smoke coming off with the Kumo. And so I think that's the best option for this dragon right now. And so that's what I'm gonna recommend. This next one is also from Warsaw Mouse. They are requesting a comic book hero theme with jeans resembling a costume. I actually want to take a look at these colors. Blue, white, and red. Very good, very good. So my first thought is, what is going to be the most superhero-y breed to go with? So I'm gonna want something soft, not a mirror, not an apparition, nothing jagged. Oh, Tundra could be good, but it doesn't feel threatening enough. I actually quite like how that looks on the Ridgeback. Even though it is kind of sharp, it does have that more sturdy, sharp feel than like cutting and scathing sharp feel. So with that in consideration, I'm going to turn everything basic and mess around with shapes a bit more. Actually, you know what usually helps is instead of turning this basic, if you make this underbelly a basic underbelly, you can see how the colors will work together in their purest basic form. Ultimately, I think that the Ridgeback is the best choice here. So now I'm going to try and see if I can create a superhero type vibe. The first thing that comes to mind when someone says superhero is like a mask. So I actually really like how Opal looks here. They didn't make any comments about money, so even though this is a gem gene, I really don't care. Ghost could also be a good pick, but I don't think it works here necessarily. So I'm gonna try out Skink and see how that looks with the face. Skink, yeah, because that creates that sort of mask vibe, and I think actually that white accent on the skink actually looks really good with the secondary. So maybe trail to match with it. Again, I would like the following. Actually, let me try ribbon. Oh, actually, I love that. Look at that. Yeah, no, skink looks better in terms of being a mask. So I'm gonna go back to that. I'm gonna mess around a bit more, but oh wait, what was that? Was that I wasn't paying enough attention. Was that Falcon? That's Fern. That's Falcon? Oh, that also has that mask vibe though. I want to give off an appearance of like sleek swiftness maybe for a superhero themed dragon. The Seraph actually really looks with the white, it can look a little bit angelic, so like in terms of visuals, but I don't like how it looks here. So maybe like, and I do have to consider how the red's gonna look, how the red's gonna fit into all this. Okapi or Scales would probably be good because they would look like typical stereotypical superhero gloves. I think that would look so cute. I don't, yeah, because it does look like the superhero mask, even with scales and stuff. So I think I'm going to mess around with the primary some more because I don't need the superhero mask to be the primary, since I've got it in the tertiary. So I'm going to take a look at what else I can do with these other colors. So now my big concern is just somehow making the secondary flow with the primary, because the wing patterns aren't following the pattern. I don't want it to get too overcomplicated and confusing because there's already so much here. Oh, actually, it's uncommon. What's the primal look like? Oh, that's good. Okay. Love the light primal. That looks good because it's breakup. But there's just not enough color cohesion, I think is another one of the issues. Is that the accents for these secondary, if I go for Paisley, as the secondary. Maybe I can get the primary accents to work. Let's take a look. Skink was a white color. Skink does have this white to it. So if I do that, I might be able to get it to work. Okay, I think this is what I would go with in the final here for a superhero. There are some other colors that work here, some other primaries that work here. Like Skink also has that white color to it, which is why I chose Fade, ultimately. So Skink would work, and so would um Flaunt. Flaunt would also work because it's got that little white accent. The problem with Skink and Flaunt is that I think it gets too busy. Whereas if you just put Fade, it's mostly two colors. One of the colors matches the secondary, and so you see that color just throughout, and you also have the blue. And I just think that looks really good. So my ultimate choice is Fade, Paisley, Scales, and then Light Primal. I think they are a little more jagged than I would have originally gone for with the Ridgeback, but I think they look more sturdy than like scary or threatening. So they look imposing, but they're not villainous. They're just a little bit threatening. So there's that. And yeah, this is what I would go with for the superhero. Again, mask, matching colors, and flow. So Happy Little Snack has sent in two of their dragons. The a banana and a disaster. So I'm very excited to see the colors of this disaster that they just scattered. Peridot, Mist, and Amber. That is tricky. That is tricky. I love it, but it is tricky. Weird XYZ turrets are my absolute favorite. So I'm going to be very excited about this. I've got a couple of dragons with Amber turret right now that I haven't gened that I really should go back to. Oh, actually, I think this is gonna work really well. There was no request here for what the outcome needed to be, so I'm just gonna go with what I feel like doing. They are female. I really love Aethers, but I hate the female Aether pose, so I'm not going to do that. Oh, yeah, I gotta love a good aberration. I haven't done one of those yet, today. Virals are tricky. You know what? People don't usually use jailers. You don't see a lot of them. So maybe mess around with that a bit. Remember that the secondary of a jailer changes its main color. I really liked the bog snake when I saw it the first time, so I'm gonna go with that. Glowtail looks so good. The problem with Glowtail is that it only shows up on the tail, so unless the tail goes all the way around the dragon, in a pose like this, you don't the color isn't cohesive throughout. And it just doesn't look as good. It only works for some poses. Oh my god. It's actually really good. I love that. Okay, gotta go with that. I don't care that it's a gem gene. Sometimes these just fall into place. All right, I'm gonna go with this. The Cinder Primary. I love the pink, and it's very cohesive throughout. It works so well because it's in the wings and the frill and the patterns and the tail. It goes so well. The Glimmer tertiary is great, and Mirrored secondary. And pastel eyes. Again, most people overlook the eyes, but if I change this to, say, common, it looks so different. It has such a different vibe. One other thing I'll take note of is that the eyes can help with cohesion. For example, in Blaze Secondary, this light blue matches the eyes very closely. And so I think it's way too busy right now, but if I had a different primary, say the Fade, this would also work really well. Especially if the Cinder Mirrored wasn't an option. That honestly isn't a bad second. So anyway, that's how I would handle that. This is gonna be my final pick for the night. They're just a banana. Oh, I love the augment on that one. Look at that. Banana Dirt Marigold. I love brown-toned dragons. Okay, fun fact. Aberrations, specifically female pose aberrations, with Fisher are absolutely gorgeous every single time. And you can't stop me. Anyway, it's been a bit since I've done an aberration, just like in general, so I am going to make an attempt, especially after seeing theirs. Oh my God, look at that. All right, there are so many tertiaries that work great here. Taking a look at, for example, Carnivore. Look at that. Gotta love that. I love, Capsule is just generally one of my favorite tertiaries. Because it works as a bit of a more complex underbelly. But just I think it really simplifies things here actually, so the markings don't come over the belly, but yeah, I think it really cleans things up. I think Capsule looks great here. But ultimately, I think the best choice is Flame Forger. I just love how it screams that this is like some leopard or cheetah on a savanna and it is coming to get you. I love it so much. It's got such a vibe to it. It feels it's one of those dragons that makes you go, "Oh, there's a story there. This isn't just a dragon. This is made to do something. Their design correlates to their story, to their lore. And I just love when a dragon does that. One of the other things that works well in this design is the purple arcane eyes. Matches kind of to the pink jaguar here. Additionally, the Fisher, I really like Fisher because it lightens the fuzz here. If we were to go with Eel, for example, it gets much darker and it simply doesn't work as well. It's just so much fiercer here, especially because all of the lightness directs you up here and then this darkness frames it and this darkness frames it and you've got this little shadow here that frames the face and stuff. And I just think it works so well because these are all about the same darkness and they just lead you up to the faces and to that imposing stature that this dragon has. So if you're wondering, so that's where that part of the process goes for now for me. So I think that's it for today because I've done 4 dragons and 4 dragons is a lot. But like I said, I may come back to it. So the best way, if you would like to add your own dragons to the list, to be gone through and designed, the best way to get to the forum post that I made is going to be to go to search, user search, type in my name, Syndask, which is spelled like this. It is the exact same username I have on YouTube, and you can just see it the entire video because it will be up in the corner up here. So my element is Earth. I am part of the Earth Flight. I have this fun little yellow guy with the galaxy underbelly skin. If it's not in my recent forum posts, which it is for now, if it gets too far out of the way, I will put it in my link hub, and you can scroll down and see it with all these other forum posts I curate. If that's not available, you can just search in here. I'm not sure what the forum ID is, so I can't give you that, unfortunately. But yes, I can. The forum ID, the topic ID, is 3269913. If you put my username into here and this topic ID here, you should be able to find this original post. And I don't even think you really need to, because even if it doesn't, you can click there and you will go to just whatever person that is, and you can just click to the first page. So feel free to add your dragons, follow these rules, read through this while you're there. But yeah, if you want to do that, add your dragons. Maybe eventually I'll get to them. I will be going in order, prioritizing people who allow me to use them in use their dragons in the video. But other than that, I am going in sequential order, um, as I always do. So yeah, that's that. Hope you have a lovely day. And tell me what other content you'd like to see in terms of Flight Rising.